How's it going, creeps? Welcome to episode 19 of Cinema Creep, a Black Mass Films podcast where we dissect all things vile, disgusting, and downright terrifying in the world of horror cinema. I'm Justin.
And I'm Andrew.
And quick shout out to our sponsor over at Ever Black Coffee. They still have their limited edition Christmas flavor, which is Krampus cookies, which according to their website is now made with real children. So go over to everblackcoffee.com, show them some love, order a bag. I think if you ordered now, literally by like this today, you should get it by Christmas. If you wait too long, then you're going to miss out on the Krampus cookies flavor forever. Unless they bring it back next year, but it's never guaranteed. So get it now. This week we are talking about a film that again Andrew does not like, but there will be some contrasting conversation because I actually enjoyed this, as opposed to last week when we did Don't Open Till Christmas. Andrew and I both thought that was a steaming pile of shit. So this week we're talking about 1980s Christmas Evil. So,
yeah,
you did not like this.
I didn't. So I know I probably sound like a miserable bastard if you've listened to our last 3 episodes, one after another. The last 3 movies, there were things in them I liked, but for the most part, I thought they all were just shit. And this one especially, I think is bad. I think this is one of those movies that people just say they like because it has such a rad name. Because like Christmas Evil, you immediately are like, that's fucking sick, but
it's obscure too. It's
right. And there are people that like it too. Like, I'm sure there's people that like it because I could understand why people like it, but it is not necessarily a Christmas horror movie to me. But I'll get into that later. Like, Justin, I know, you're going to kind of steer us in the right direction on this one because, past me saying it's a steamy pile of shit, I have a lot of opinions on it, but I want you to kind of take us where we need to go.
So one of the things that I actually liked about this movie is I felt like it was more fleshed out and more cohesive than, say, Don't Open Till Christmas.
Sorry.
Listen, I'll explain a little bit. So this movie is a slow burn. Before we dive too much into it, we will say it was written and directed by Lewis Jackson. And the synopsis is: a toy factory worker mentally scarred as a child, upon learning that Santa Claus is not real, suffers a nervous breakdown after being belittled at work and embarks on a Yuletide killing spree. So this film is a slow burn, but I feel like it moves the story forward, as opposed to last week, Don't Open Till Christmas was kind of a slow burn, but it just felt frantic because it was just a whole bunch of bullshit over and over again. I mean, this movie I feel like is an actual story that leads up, to some, like, it's got progression.
No, I'll agree with you there for sure. Like, this does have a storyline, whereas the other one, Don't Open Till Christmas, did not. That was just a whole bunch of weird cuts of like a whole bunch of different things. This one, it does have a story, and that's one of the reasons to me it doesn't necessarily feel like it lives up to the name Christmas Evil, because it spends the first 45 minutes basically as a character study on this guy. So it kind of draws a lot of parallels through different movies, right? So your main character, Harry, I don't want to say it is nearly even in the same league as a movie like Taxi Driver, right? Because I fucking absolutely love Taxi Driver, Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver. But like, if you've seen it, then you kind of understand, right, Justin? Because it builds up the character over the first half of the movie until he reaches his breaking point, right? And that's sort of what this movie does. Is like,
you talking to me?
Yeah, but that movie's not a horror. Like, Taxi Driver is not a horror movie. It's more like like a crime drama, maybe you could say suspense. I don't know. Like,
it teeters on. It's that dark crime drama with a little bit of exploitation in there.
Yeah.
So
to whereas this movie, a horror film, you don't expect to not get any sort of payoff in the first, 45 minutes of the film, but that's what this does. Because when I was watching this, I was watching it with my wife, and I told her, I said, this is literally could play out like an actual just Christmas movie, right? So this is something you could see as like a Miracle on 34th Street kind of film. until the guy reaches his breaking point. Even when he reaches his breaking point, it's still, to me, like, not even that bad. I'm like, all right, well, this happened.
He is still painted as kind of like the good guy, right? And he was just done wrong.
Right, so it's like he did some bad shit, but it's like, was he just having an off day? Like, I mean, am I really mad at him for doing that? But let's talk about how he got there.
Because, okay, so this movie, one thing, we've talked about this a little bit off air. So this movie has the same roots as every other Christmas slasher specifically, but not every other, but 99% of them do. Now, this is a common theme in a lot of slasher films, period. But it's really a super common theme with Christmas films, same as last week's film. It has to do with childhood trauma, mainly dealing with Santa Claus and getting with your mama.
Yeah, Santa's be fucking.
Yeah.
That is 100% the way to go at Christmas.
This film starts off with this mom and her two sons, which is Philip and Harry, and they're watching Santa Claus. It's their dad dressed as Santa, and he's putting their gifts under the tree. And, he's...
Sorry. Yeah. But which I want to add real quick. How the fuck did Dad hop down the fireplace like that?
Yeah, that's something I want to touch on. I'll draw back when we talk about the last shot of this movie.
Yeah.
Because that's something to talk about too. So Dad, he's putting their gifts in their stockings and under the tree. Mom's sitting on the staircase with them watching. Then they go to bed, right? And Philip, the younger brother, he's like, that was Dad. And Harry's like, nah, you're full of shit. That was Santa. Well, then he hears Mom laughing. He gets up and he goes to check it out. Well, lo and behold, Santa Claus, Dad, dressed as Santa Claus, is, just straight up all but going down on Mom in the living room. Like, she's standing up and his face is like, in her crotch, like she's got her nightgown lifted up, and they're like laughing and having a jolly old time.
It's an awkward scene.
It is very awkward. And Harry's like, oh shit. Like, everything I thought is just ruined. Like, it's not even the fact that it's Mom and Dad like doing adult things. It's fuck, Santa's not real. So then he goes up to the attic and he gets a snow globe.
This fucking
and he breaks it. Yeah, so he breaks it and he picks up some of the glass and he cuts his hand open with it. Which I'm like, okay, there's his trauma. The thing I thought that was weird about that, the only thing I really have to complain about story-wise is the whole story is rooted in the fact that he had this childhood trauma around Christmas, finding out Santa's not real. But then it flash forwards to him as an adult and he's asleep and his alarm goes off. And there's like Christmas music going on, and he's wearing like these red velvet Santa pajamas with like a Santa Claus pajama cap. And he's all about some Christmas, and he works at a fucking toy factory, and he got promoted apparently. And so he's talking to these other workers. They're all heckling him, giving him shit. Right. But he genuinely misses being on the line because he misses making sure there's quality toys being sent to the children. Well, actually, I want to backtrack on that. So speaking of children, he goes up to the rooftop when he wakes up and he's watching all these other children in their apartments and stuff through binoculars. And then he goes back and he writes, and he's got these two big ass books labeled Good Boys and Girls and Bad Boys and Girls. And he's like literally making like Santa lists, writing down all the good or bad things that these kids are doing. And it's like, I thought you were traumatized by Christmas though.
Yeah, so I mean, when you look at all of this, it's just up to this point, it makes no fucking sense to me. So first of all, like, if you go back to when he was a kid, he fucking has an attic that he goes up in. There's just like a fucking snow globe up there. So he's like, what kind of fucking weirdo kid just keeps a snow globe up in his attic? Like, he just goes up there to hang out with it. So he immediately knew it was there when he goes up there to smash it to cut his hand. So that's automatically fucking weird in the beginning, And then, like you said, the whole book thing, is like, you already know this guy is a psychopath. Just how he wakes up, he puts on Christmas music. which isn't weird in itself. That's pretty normal. But then, he's dressed as Santa. Like you said, if he has this thing, is it because, my mind automatically starts thinking, is it because he has like mommy issues? Is it like an incestual thing? Like my dad was fucking my mom. Is it completely
normal though? Because the thing is it's not even actually Christmas time yet. It's like fucking Thanksgiving.
Right. He's like, my mom was like, I found out Santa wasn't real. My mom was screwing Santa Claus, and now I want to be dressed as Santa Claus. If I saw something like that, I would be like, I want nothing to do with Santa. Like I am anti-Santa. Just saying.
The thing is so from there, it shows him at work. Like I said, he's promoted. He's no longer on the line. And he's talking to the other guys, and they're like, joking with him, heckling him and shit. And he's like talking to him. He's like, do you guys not care about like good toys? Like, do you not understand the joy that would bring to the children and shit? So then this other guy comes in, and they don't care. They don't care. This guy comes in and literally just takes, I don't know what he was eating. I couldn't tell if it was a sandwich or whatever. This guy comes in and he's like, hey, can I have a bite of that, Harry? And he literally takes it from him and takes a bite and starts eating his damn food. And then he's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going on vacation early. So then, it's essentially now Harry's got to work over, and he's like, you miss working on the line. So why don't you just work my shift for me?
Yeah. So
from there, it goes on. You go ahead.
No, so the guy that came in, he basically was saying, hey, I need somebody to take my shift because I'm taking vacation. And Harry was there, giving that speech like, guys, you got to really care about the toys. I miss being down there working, making sure there's quality assurance and all that. And then that guy's like, so later on, that guy's trying to find somebody to cover his shift, and he calls Harry, and he's like, oh, Harry, old pal, I know that you miss being down there on the line and being around the toys, just like you said, you'll take my shift, and then hangs up. So Harry is like basically stuck, like with no other option but to go work this guy's fucking position on the line. And so that's how he got there, right? Because everybody leaves, and Harry's like, oh, motherfuck, why did I even like answer the phone,
Yep. Well, so from there you start seeing like the slow
descent into
unhinging
madness
of him. Yeah, so like because then it goes to that scene where he comes back to his apartment or whatever, and he's got the little toy, and he's humming "Santa Claus is coming to town," and it sounds creepy as fuck. And he's got like a toy soldier or something, and he's like sitting there crushing it in his hands. So you can tell that okay, he's starting to lose a little.
This is exactly the part where I was like, well, this bed's feeling awfully comfy. I guess I'm just going to kind of like start slowly sinking into the sheets. Cause I was like, this whole that whole scene was just too much. It was just like over the top. Like I was like, this is fucking stupid. Like, because he's sitting there and he's getting angrier and angrier as he's humming. And the scene went on for too long, which is the problem with this whole movie. For me, is most of these scenes, they just go on too long.
I think the problem is it's trying to sell it as he was traumatized, so these things would trigger him. But I don't feel like that's how the character is actually written. I think he's written more of he already had a deep-rooted psychological issue. Like he's not acting like, oh, I'm traumatized a little. He's acting like I'm like a genuine sociopath, or I've got like real problems connecting to the real world.
Well, I mean, I understand too, because I felt bad for the guy, right? Like at the beginning.
Well, I did too. He's not painted as like a villain. If you really watch, like all the shit that ensues from this is kind of like provoked,
Right, but that's one of my problems with the movie is like I feel bad for the guy because it's like, okay, well, these guys are being pieces of shit to him, and his parents were like just being weird, like, well, they weren't being weird, like what they're doing is fucking normal, but like wait till you know that your kids aren't going to come see you if you're like face fucking your significant other in the middle of the living room. Make sure your kids aren't going to like wake up and see it. You know what I mean? Like so like a lot of weird shit's happening to this guy, and I feel bad for him. He kind of lost his innocence as a kid, right? All at one time. Like, first seeing your parents doing that, two, the whole Santa thing, so he lost his innocence, and it really fucked him up. And then as he grows up, people just treat him like shit. So, like, after he takes that guy's shift, right, he gets off the shift that he was covering for that guy and goes to the bar where all those fucking idiots hang out, and he's looking through the window. And he hears them talking shit about him. They're like, oh, that schluck Harry's something. I got that sorry fucker to take my shift. And they're all there hanging out at the bar. And Harry's looking through the window and he's just like, son of a bitch. Even after I did something nice for this guy, he's still talking shit about me, And that's my problem is like this guy, Harry, could be such an amazing, likable character if they would have told the rest of the story the right way, in my opinion, but they made him this bumbling fucking Santa Claus idiot that I'm like, God damn it. Like, because literally there is no redeeming factor for me for this character because he just like goes around saying stupid shit the rest of the movie that's not even like, I want him to get revenge on all of these motherfucking people. And that's what I was hoping when I watched this for the first time was like, all right, I hope he kills all these fucking guys. I hope he does something. I hope he burns down the goddamn factory, the Jolly Dream factory, and, all this shit. But, like, no, it's like he doesn't end up even murdering the right fucking people. And I'm like, the fuck? Anyways, sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
Well, I think, like I said, they try to present it as trauma, but he's written as having other problems because then, it shows it's Thanksgiving Day and his brother is, like,
doing push-ups,
calling him. Well, yeah. So, fun fact about his brother, by the way, that dude is actually. Let me go find the actor's name. So, Jeffrey Damon. I don't know how you say his last name, but at first I was like, that guy looks kind of familiar. This is 1980, so I was like, the guy's got to be like a young version of someone I know. So I looked it up, and sure enough, it's Dale from The Walking Dead. So. It's a fun little fact. But so he calls his brother up. He's like, it's Thanksgiving. Like, are you not coming over? Like, the kids are excited to see you. We're wanting you to come over. And he's watching like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. And this is where they start illustrating his weird obsession with Santa Claus. Because whenever they announce, here's the man of the hour or whatever, that's when he cancels all Thanksgiving plans. He's like, nope, fuck that turkey, dude. He's like, I've got other plans. And his brother's like, since when?
So, yeah. So stop right there for a second, because here's a point I want to make, right? So here's where the movie could have went in an awesome direction, right? So, Justin, if we were to remake this film, which we fucking should, because I already know how we can make this a fucking gnarly movie, I think we should really redo this script, because right here, the whole point of this movie could simply be that everybody thinks that Harry's a piece of shit, but everybody glorifies Santa Claus. So he wants to become Santa Claus because everybody thinks he's a piece of shit, and nobody thinks Santa Claus is a piece of shit. You understand what I'm saying? If they would have played on that angle where he's like, oh man, everybody loves Santa. I want to know what it feels like to be loved, so I'm going to be Santa. Then it would be like,
I get that.
Because this scene gave a very small hint of that, but they did not, expand upon that emotion. If they would have done that, where he was like actually getting gratification from people like loving him, like when he shows up to the party later on as Santa, I would have been like, fuck yeah, this movie makes sense. But no, it didn't play on that at all. You know what I mean? Because that's why he canceled those plans, is because he was like, look at all these fucking people. They want to see Santa in the parade, and this is when he starts kind of like the movie starts losing steam for me. But
I mean, I was still into it at this point from like just a purely like entertainment standpoint. It's not like I was like, man, I'm super engaged in this, because like I said, I feel like it as a film, it's cohesive from like getting from point A to point B, but I do feel like the plot wants to be 5 different things. But the reason I think it's, like I said, it's more cohesive than Don't Open Till Christmas is because Don't Open Till Christmas, the plot wanted to be like 20 different things, and it was also trying to get from point A to point B 20 different ways. Like you went from point A to point B to point D to point Z to point G, and we still never arrived at the end in a good way. But this film, I think, went from point A to point B pretty steady. like I said, there's just different plot points. I feel like there's certain points in the movie where the plot could have went several different directions.
You ever take a road trip?
So now,
sorry, you ever take a road trip and you know, you're not driving and you have to put up with somebody that wants to stop every fucking half hour to like use the bathroom or get food or whatever. And this is literally like this film is like one of those road trips, right? Where a trip should take you 5 hours, but it ends up taking you 8 goddamn hours because this person can't stop stopping. You know, like it's cool if you're like, oh, well, let's go see a roadside attraction. But no, they're like, you know what? I want a candy bar. I'm going to pull off at the gas station. And then you're there for fucking 45 goddamn minutes. Or you know what? Like I've got to shit for the third time on this trip. And you're like, what are you? You know, are you a fucking dog? Like, can you not use the bathroom once every couple hours like a regular fucking person? And, this movie feels like going on a trip like that because it's like, holy fuck, do I really need to see a scene of him doing this? Or holy fuck, do I need to stop again just so this guy can like look tormented for like 3 minutes and then not have a payoff? So we can just have a score build up some shit for nothing to fucking happen. I'm like,
I didn't feel it that intensely that it was like that. I mean, I do get what you're saying. I feel like that was more Don't Open Till Christmas for me. This was just kind of like, oh shit, like, are we going to have enough gas to make it to the destination?
No,
but
I pushed my fucking car 3/4 of the way there.
Well, you still made it though, didn't you?
Not in the fashion I wanted to. I got there angry. I arrived angry.
I needed an oil change afterwards.
Yeah.
But so now we see, you know, he's got this obsession with Santa. And then it starts going like just this weird turn of him, like he goes and at one point he goes to Moss. So Moss is the kid that was looking at the I think it was a Penthouse magazine, and he's like cutting the centerfold out, and he goes in the bad list. He shows up at this little kid's house, and he's like chilling in the living room playing with his toys, and he's watching him through the window, and you're like, is he about to kill this kid? And now this scene I did think was weird. This scene could have not been in there. So the mom comes in and she's like, you got all your toys in the floor? Like, we got to go. Let's go. She turns the TV off and they go out the door, or before they go out. So he dips his face and his hands in the mud, and then he puts his hands and his face on the side of the house and leaves like a face and handprint
for no fucking reason.
The mom, for no reason. And then he goes back and he watches, and the mom and the kid come out of the house. So he ducks behind the bushes. Well, Moss ends up seeing him, and he's like, well, I'm going to go check this shit out like an idiot. And the mom, the whole time, like, so in the naughty list, he wrote that Moss had bad hygiene. You know, he was a perv, basically, and he picked his nose. So I'm assuming that all of that made this kid fucking deaf, because his mom is straight sitting there saying, come on, get in the car, let's go. And he's like straight up ignoring her.
That's walking a 10-year-old to the bushes. Man. I got one. I know exactly. This is real life. Just wait.
Well,
just wait.
I'm just saying.
It's having a fucking 19-year-old.
Keep him away from the bushes.
Yeah.
So he gets over to the bushes, and Harry like throws his arm out. He doesn't even like try to grab him. He just like scares him. So then the kid runs back to the mom. And this, I literally laughed out loud at the scene. So if you listened last week, we were talking about the POV shot when the dad dressed as Santa slaps the mom down the stairs and then slaps the knife out of Giles's hand. Moss's mom takes the award for the best slap, coming out miles ahead of the bullshit that we got in Don't Open Till Christmas, because Moss is sitting there saying, there's a monster in the bushes. He tried to grab me. And he's like talking all this shit. And mom's like, I don't want to hear it. And she just smacks the shit out of the kid.
What a fucking asshole. Like, I was like, man, like your kid is telling you that there's something in the bushes and he's scared, and you just hit this motherfucker in his face. And there
actually was. It's not like he's making it up. There's a fucking dude in your bushes.
Yeah. Like, could you imagine just being like, yo, you know what? Fuck you, kid. Wham. And then throwing their ass in the car.
Well, then she's like, she smacks the shit out of him, throws him in the car, and says, you always have to ruin my night. And I'm like, what the fuck?
So there's the scene too with Moss, because Moss never really got a payoff in the movie. Like, you would fully expect Harry to like kill Moss or like basically grind him up or some shit like that, right? Do something real evil to him, because that is basically the payoff there, is he scares him, right? That's the payoff for Moss. And it's stupid. They shouldn't have even included him if they weren't going to have Moss, like, you know, as more of a center figure in this, right? Because they reference him several times. It's not like the other little girl, Sarah, where he talks about her, shows her writer in the book, but like Moss has a place in the movie. Because even when he's walking down the street and like the kids start yelling out what they want for Christmas, doesn't Moss yell out like, I want a penthouse or some shit like that? You know what I mean? So he has a center stage in the movie. He just, you know, doesn't get his...
He falls off of it.
Yeah, he just doesn't get his day, so...
Well... I don't know. That's the only reason I thought that scene was weird, because there was nothing that came of it. So now we're going further down, you know, him like losing his shit. His brother starts becoming concerned with him, and he's getting deeper into the Santa Claus thing, right? So then, you know, without like we don't want to like go beat by beat with this, because the rest of the film is just typical slasher film to me, kind of. With a little bit of like weird whimsy.
Do you see how wide my eyes are open? It is not a typical slasher film.
Well, it's not typical, but it's a slasher film. It's a goofy ass, cheesy slasher film. So
no. See, me and Justin see eye to eye on most stuff, but to me, this is not a slasher. To me, this is a fucking goddamn bumbling pile of bullshit that like. There's 4 kills in this. That is not a slasher film. That's a fucking soap opera. A slasher film, there should be a rule. Is there a rule, anybody out there in cinema creep land, where a slasher film has to meet X amount body count? Like 8, 10, 14. Like what is a slasher?
So you're saying that 1978's Halloween isn't a slasher film?
There's 5 kills in that?
There's 5 kills. This movie has 1 less than Halloween.
1 less than Halloween, which did not have many, which Halloween is known to be, you know, of course, the godfather of slashers, but it is also known to do it without gore, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, this also has more blood than Halloween.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. Maybe 5 is that number. But to me, this did not feel slasherific at all.
Well, okay, so I want to do this. Instead of like going, you know, giving you beat by beat, we're gonna take a quick little sponsor break, and then we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna talk about some of the shit that ensues. We'll talk about some of those kills, and basically focus on how now he's finally pushed over the edge. So
I might
here's
come
a word.
back.
He might come back. Until then, here's a word from our sponsor. We'll catch you in just a second. How's it going, creeps? One quick mid-episode break to tell you a little more about our sponsor. Since 2016, Everblack Coffee Company has delivered exceptional single-origin coffee and high fives all over the world. They understand that a cup of coffee is so much more than something you drink. That's why they source their beans from farms that only use fair trade and organic growing practices. When you buy coffee from Everblack, you can be certain that you're getting the highest quality coffee available by ethical means only. It's time to start looking at coffee differently. Head over to everblackcoffee.com and grab a bag for yourself. It's deliciously dark. Now back to the show. All right, welcome back. So when we left, we were having a little bit of a debate on whether we feel this is actually a horror movie or not. It's literally a horror movie, but I get your point of it's not so much a slasher film as it's just a drama about this dude who gets treated like shit and people just happen to die.
It's a movie where people die.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, we've basically summed up the whole like first 45 minutes of this film, which is like the character development of Harry. So at this point, he's full on dressed as Santa Claus, and he's got a bunch of toys, and he's trying to go take them to these kids at this hospital. So this is where shit gets weird, because he shows up and he's like knocking on the door. And it's like, I've got to give these toys. The guard comes out and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh, I gotta give, the toys to all these kids." And he's like, "Oh, that's kind of weird." So he gives the security guard a gift. And he's like, well, I'm going to go back in and get the people and they'll help you get these toys. So while he's waiting for them to come out, he's literally standing by himself in the snow, practicing his Merry Christmas. And then he just happens to perfect it when all the hospital workers come out, right?
Wait 2 seconds before you go further on this, okay? Because there's two things that you just talked about that I want to unpack. So, first of all, the security guard, motherfuck that dude, right? I was hoping that Harry was going to fucking kill him because this guy was a total dick to Harry. Because
he was.
This guy, okay, so it's a children's orphanage or children's hospital, right? It's a children's hospital. And so Harry shows up dressed as Santa Claus on Christmas Eve with a bag of toys to give to the kids in the hospital. And this security guard is just like, oh, you're here awfully late. Who the fuck are you? And it's like, God damn, I'm Santa Claus. I've got fucking gifts. Now, granted, you can't just let anybody in a fucking children's hospital, but you don't have to be a dick to the guy that's trying to donate toys, right? So Harry should have just straight up killed this fucking guy because he was an asshole. Now, going back to what you were just saying about him, this is how this movie is just not a fucking horror film to me, is it does too much shit like this, where he's trying to perfect his Santa lingo, and he's Merry Christmas over and over again. And when he perfects it the last time, it fucking starts snowing. I'm like, that is the most goddamn stupid shit I've ever seen in my life. That would make sense if I was watching the Santa Claus with Tim Allen or like Fred Claus, but like a horror movie, like what the fuck is the point in that? Showing that, oh, this is like a jolly good time right now. No, kill the fucking security guard, kick down the goddamn door. The presents need to have fucking bombs in them, and you blow up the fucking children's hospital. That's a fucking horror movie.
You mean after saving the kids, or just fuck this hospital?
Just fuck the hospital. It's a horror movie. Like, you were going in there and you were blowing up the hospital because all those fucking kids are naughty, because this is what it should have been. It should have been him realizing that kids are pieces of shit. All kids are naughty. That's what it should have been when he's spying on the kids in binoculars. He should have been like, you know what? Kids are fucking bad. They're bad. They're bad. They're bad. And that should have been his mentality the whole movie. And he should have just been like sneaking into houses and like fucking lighting Christmas trees on fire like the Grinch and like fucking burning houses down. Like, do you see where I'm going with that?
I get that. Like, yeah, like I agree. Like, that's where I felt like this movie should have went. There are Christmas slashers that go that route, and we'll get to some of those. But no, I get what you're saying.
Continue. I'm sorry. I go on a tangent.
No, you're good. You're good. Look, man, rants are welcome here. So basically, from here, the rest of the movie is literally him. You know, it's illustrating how he's just wanting to spread Christmas cheer, but, you know, all these other people are like treating him like shit. He goes to like this church, and this is like the first actual like kill, and they all come out and they're talking shit to him, right? They're making fun of him. And then he pulls this like, it's like a Union soldier figurine, and he's like, I've got something for you. And he stabs him in the eye with like the bayonet. And then he takes like this hatchet and hits him in the head. Andrew's over there rolling his eyes. But
this dumbass doesn't even kill the right guy. Like, he kills
several people here.
Well, he kills the people that were talking shit to him, but the whole fucking point is like the guy that was at the Christmas party that works with him, right? The guy that did not know how many toys that the fucking children's hospital needed, right? When he goes to the work Christmas party, was at the church. This is who he should have killed at the church. He doesn't kill this guy in the whole entire goddamn movie. He should have fucking killed that guy. He was at the church. But no, these other assholes come down the stairs and start talking shit. Why were these other assholes even there? Did that actor just, like, it shows him in that scene in the church, and then it cuts to the next scene where they're outside the church where they come out. It's like, did they just not have that actor for the day? Was he like, you know what, guys, I'm fucking done with this movie. This is some bullshit. So they couldn't even have him kill that guy? But why the fuck did they not kill this dude?
I don't know. That's a very real possibility.
I'm upset.
Maybe they couldn't afford him, or maybe he was just like, nah.
I'm upset. No, yeah, that's probably what it was. He's probably like, I'm not fucking dying in this movie. Don't you know who the fuck I am? I was on Days of Our Lives. I'm not fucking dying in this.
Yeah.
I'm going to the sequel.
You won't write me out. I just won't show the fuck up.
You can't, yeah. What are you going to do now?
Yep. You can't kill me. I quit.
So the death scene, right? That's what you were talking about. Like, sorry, I keep interjecting here, but I keep fucking just getting very passionately angry about this fucking movie.
I want to do, though? So we said we were never going to do this, but based on how worked up you've gotten over the last two movies, I got as worked up kind of about Don't Open Till Christmas, but I can't fully take it to 100 on this because I enjoyed this slightly. I envy you right now. I want to attack a movie with the same energy. So I'm deciding that going into 2021, we are officially going to do a full episode on Veronica.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
If you had to choose between watching Veronica one time or this 5 times in a row, what would you choose?
I'd watch this 5 times in a row. Like, Veronica is 100% like... Oh, I don't even... I try to block it out of my memory, but here you go.
That's what we need to do. Well, that's what we need to do. We need to start rating all of our films on a scale of Veronica to Halloween.
Yeah, I agree with that. But so this stupid fucking kill scene... So like what you said, Justin, it was these guys start talking shit to him. It's like, what? Why are you guys picking on Santa Claus? He's literally just Santa hanging out here at the church. And like they come down all fucking like, you know, like this dude's trying to act like a G in front of his girl that he's with at church. And he's like, what's up, Santa? Like, I see you got some modern wheels here. And then they're just like talking their shit, but they're not even like really talking shit. They're kind of like playfully like picking with him, right? But he's like, I've got something for you.
Yeah, but he's getting pissed because he worked on that van. He did his hard ass. He spent his fucking time and put in hard work painting that fucking van.
It didn't fucking look like it.
He painted a sleigh.
Looked like a piece of shit is what it looked like to me. Like he took time to do that in the way that, yeah, a serial killer would take time to do that. Like it looked like dog shit.
It looked like a sleigh to me.
I understand 100%. See, but they weren't talking shit about his van because I would agree with that. The van looked like shit. Like Harry's a shitty painter. He's shit. Like I feel bad for the guy. I really do. But the very terrible scene of him killing these people is just fucking nonsensical. And then the way they go about it, he shoves the fucking thing in the guy's eye and doesn't green goo shoot out. Like he has a little Union soldier that has the bayonet, and he pushes it at him. It goes in his eye, and shit squirts out of his eye. And I think looks like it's like green goo.
It looked like it to me, but I think it was either the lighting, or they might have been doing the Evil Dead approach, you know, where they didn't want it to be completely like rated X, even though that one little like eye squirt isn't going to fucking get your film like NC-17.
Well, here's the thing.
So they were trying to, I guess, I don't know.
If it was green like I thought it was, I don't think that they thought through like Sam Raimi did what you're saying. I think these people were so fucking stupid. They're just like, oh, there's probably green goo that shoots out of your eye if you get stabbed in there. So let's just throw some green shit in there. And then the way that he fucking hatchets these people to death, it's like they play the trick where, oh, you see it swinging up in the air and then you see it kind of on the person's head, but it does the same because it works, of course, on Friday the 13th, where you see him take up the machete and it hits the fucking light and they're using the real one so it metal dings, and then when it comes down it's like, oh fuck, he just hit him with a real machete. But this, it's like they do the same trick 8 times in a row and it goes and I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? God damn it. And then like the people, when it cuts to the people, you can tell that they're like halfway crouched down and then they just kind of roll over, and I'm like, motherfuck, like come on. And then lo and behold, this fucking idiot, he's like, not only am I going to kill people and try not to get caught because they're going to say, oh, it was the Santa Claus. Okay. There might be a lot of people dressed with Santa Claus. How many goddamn Santa Claus that are fucking driving around a Dodge work van with a sleigh painted on the side? You fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I have a solution to them being so afraid that there's all these Santa Clauses, because there's literally like a police lineup, like an identification lineup of Santa Clauses. You know how you solve the problem, right? I mean, a lot of Santa Clauses are going to die, but you're going to get the right one. They should have called Giles from Don't Open Till Christmas in this motherfucker. He'd have stabbed all those motherfuckers in the stomach. Well, what all this guy had to do is not super glue his stupid fucking beard on his face, and he could have taken his costume off and he would have got away with murder. But no, he fucking goddamn glued his beard to his face like an idiot.
Yeah, and then he has like a mental breakdown looking in the wind or in the mirror, and he's like trying to pull it, and he's like, "It's me, it's me." No, I will say his his acting in that scene, I was like, all right, this dude's fucking nuts.
This dude's a good actor. This dude is a good actor. Like, there's no doubt about that. I will agree with you there. It is not his fault that the movie fucking blew. It is like literally every fucking thing else. Like, it was even cut together weird. Did you notice the weird cuts in this? Like Don't Open Till Christmas. Like, there was a couple really weird cuts.
What stood out to, I don't think they were weird cuts as in like, Don't Open Till Christmas was more of weird cuts in the sense of editing wise, they didn't know how to move from scene to scene. And this, I feel like it was literal technical cutting issues. Like, because this was in 1980, it was obviously, it was on film. I went to say film reel and just film at the same time, so I said film.
Film.
I'm from North Carolina. I'm not that southern, but now it's out there forever. I said film.
Film.
Anyway, film. So there were a couple moments in this movie where I noticed it looked like it was just a weird, like, technical cut between the film. Like, there was literally like a frame that should have been cut out or something.
Did you watch this on Shudder?
Nope. I actually have this on DVD.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I watched it on Shudder, and I still got the weird cut. So I don't think it's like a rip issue. I think it's more or less just, like you said, technical stuff of how they filmed it. But interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, literally, like, in the cutting room. Yeah. Like, when they edited it together, it's like there might have been like a frame too much here, a frame too much there. Because sometimes I would get like these weird, like, it was almost like a light leak and then like the scratches, but it was right on the first frame of like the cut.
Yeah. So interesting enough, Justin, this is from 1980, right? Like you said. And I just want to, one thing I like doing in this podcast is talking about movies that also came out the same year, so we can draw comparisons, right? So let's just talk about a few of them real quick. Some of the more popular ones. So you had House, Cannibal Holocaust, The Lost Boys, Day of the Dead, Cujo, Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, The Fly, Scanners, Critters, Videodrome, The Shining, Silver Bullet. You had a lot of good shit that came out. Creepshow 2, Cat's Eye, Friday the 13th, Hell Night, The Prowler, Sleepaway Camp 2.
Till they catch the Prowler.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, The Evil Dead, Pet Sematary, Halloween 3, Cujo. Like, you know, we could go on and on and on and on and on. You know, like, there was a whole lot of shit that came out. Actually, I don't think one of those I said was in the 80s. 1981 was Evil Dead. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
what you're saying is this movie has absolutely no excuse.
Yeah, well, Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was 85. I fucking went down the wrong list. But a lot of that shit is fucking, is right. In terms of Cannibal Holocaust and Lost Boys. No, Lost Boys is 87. What the fuck kind of list am I looking at?
I got you. I think you're looking at like a list compiled of like good 80s films. Because I know that's not the list you and I were looking at earlier. Because we've already mentioned this a little. Yeah, because
I was like, this has a whole lot more shit on it.
Let's see. The Attic, The Babysitter, Beyond Evil, The Boogeyman, Cannibal Holocaust, Cannibal Apocalypse, The Changeling, City of the Living Dead, fucking Fulci all day. Inferno. So you got Argento putting out good shit. John Carpenter put out The Fog. Friday the 13th, of course. The Hearse. So, I mean, the list goes on. Maniac. Motel Hell. Mother's Day. Which, God, I can't wait till Mother's Day. We can do an episode on Mother's Day.
Yeah, there's a lot of good shit, right? So that's my whole point is you get to a point in what I said in the last podcast is, you know, when all your friends are making really gnarly shit, you know, like, why are you still fucking off and making something like this? You have good examples of what horror should be and even Christmas horror. And you're just like, well, let's just go ahead and let's just make the movie with the most gnarliest title in the world, Christmas Evil. Like, I absolutely love the title. They scored big with that. But they're like, you know what? That's fucking like, that's it. You know, that's what we've got. Right. We've got the title. That's all.
Well, moving on a little bit, let's because the movie's basically over at this point now. There's one more like major kill. He comes into the house. It's Frank's house, right? So you meet this dude Frank, and he goes to smother him with a fucking bag of toys. And I want to know, how much eggnog did Frank's wife drink to the point where she slept through that shit.
Yeah.
Because he's literally sitting there like making a bunch of noise. But I will say, even though there's not a whole lot, you know, for it to compare to, this kill was 10 out of 10. Because he stopped smothering him with the bag. And Frank pops up like he's going to fight him. And Harry grabs the tree topper and slits his throat with it. So I'm like, that's not. Now, it's not by any means like the best fucking. I mean, Jack Frost has better fucking Christmas kills than this movie, but
I will say that was a fun kill for this movie, right? And it was obviously the best out of the two kill scenes that this horror movie had. But
yeah, the slasher movie is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So from there, basically, he's chased by the town. There's a weird scene where like the kids are trying to protect him, and this girl's dad's like trying to kill him, and she's like, "No, you're not gonna do it." And he's chased, by an angry mob, basically with fucking torches. Yeah, he shows up at his brother's house, and his brother's basically like, "I fucking knew it was you. You've always had some fucking problems." And he like almost kills him. Like his younger brother Philip, like almost strangles him to death. And then it cuts from there to now he's ran outside. He gets in his van and he's trying to escape the mob. And this is the part. This right here. I want to talk about this before we move on to Trivia of Terror, because there's not really much more we could say about this movie. But I can only imagine the eye roll that you made in the last shot of this film.
Well,
you want to talk about it, or do you want me to roll it out and you just give your natural eye roll reaction?
Well, so my eyes did roll before this. For the first time I watched this movie, they rolled in the back of my fucking head because I fell asleep. Because I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use this time more wisely than watching this dumb piece of shit movie. But then I went back and I watched the ending and I was like, I could not believe that this is what the fuck happened. So you go ahead, you talk about it, because I don't. I'm going to get angry.
All right.
Get fucking mad.
We're going to just go ahead and give it away and then have a little bit of discussion about it, because I do want to talk about how it probably should have ended. So basically he's in his van. He's driving off. He's running away from everybody. And he drives his van straight the fuck off this like bridge. Was it a bridge?
Yeah.
Or was it just like so he drives off a bridge.
It was like an embankment,
and you never
like
see
a
the
turn.
car fall. Well, yeah. So he goes over this embankment. You never see the van hit the ground, because it fucking doesn't. It starts reciting like "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and it like shows the side of the van where the sleigh is there, and he just takes off into the night, goes towards the moon, and then it cuts to the credits. So what I think is that wasn't actually what happened. I think he did die, like he crashed. I feel like that was in his imagination, because he got to the point where he genuinely thought he was Santa Claus, because he was even telling his brother, he's like, "You never believed in me." And he's like, "What the fuck? I said I didn't believe in Santa. And I was like 6 when I said that shit." So how I would have done this is I would have had that exact thing play out, because I was like, "Ooh, okay, I think they're going to do this." Because I had never seen this. I'd always just heard about it. I think that would have been so much cooler if when he went over the embankment, it looked like he took off like Santa or whatever, and then it still faded out. But then it fades back in, and it's like the next morning, and it's like a crane shot. It's coming down, and you like see the wreckage of the van, and they're all like, "It's over," like he's dead, blah, blah, blah. But
well, I think what you're saying is how you would end it. It's fucking gnarly. Like, I'd be all about that ending, right? But I think what you're trying to give them credit for is giving them too much credit, because that is 100% not what they were trying to do, because they had no fucking clue what they were going to do. So that's
100% a Justin James original right there.
So what they were doing, Justin, is they were 100% making it to where this guy actually fucking flew his van. And the reason that I know they weren't trying to pull the old, he's too fucking crazy and he just thinks he's flying, is because they have the fucking guy. Because if they were going to do it to where he thinks he's crazy, they would shoot it like what you said, if they knew what the hell they were doing, right? But they have the dude that fucking falls down the side of the goddamn thing, right? What's his name? After he drives the van off, that dude goes tumbling down the fucking hill, right? This is when
it's his brother, right?
Yeah, it's his fucking brother, right? So his
Philip.
brother goes to him, but his brother looks up in the sky and he looks up like bewildered that this van is flying. So that tells me that they were showing that the van is actually flying because it shows another person's point of view watching the van fly. Now, if they would have done what you've done and like, if they would have, here's how they should have done it, in my opinion. Exactly what you said is they should have fucking had him looking like he's flying up, and then they should have fucking cut to him laying there in the wreckage, like kind of smiling, but then cut back to like him flying up in the sky, right? That would have been the shit. And then they could have cut it and it would have been like, that motherfucker is crazy. Like,
yeah, it's like he's laying there and he sees himself.
Yeah.
Only maybe when it cuts back, it's not a van. He's actually in a motherfucking sleigh.
Exactly. So that's the thing. And then, you know, sort of how they could cut back and this whole time he wouldn't even be in a van at all. He would just see himself flying around the town in the sleigh. You know what I mean? Like some shit like that would be like, okay, he's fucking psycho. No, the fucking writer was a psychopath because the writer did some fucking insane shit with this movie. When his brother goes tumbling down the hill, I don't know if you remember that scene, but it's fake snow. They have blankets laid down because when he's tumbling down the hill, the blankets are coming up as he's rolling and you can see the ground underneath. And they're just like, fuck, just leave it. It's cold out here. We're not coming back out here to reshoot this. It's good enough. Who's going to ever see this, right? Who's going to ever actually be like,
that's fucking hilarious.
I see the fucking dirt underneath the blanket when he rolls up. No, it's like fucking, fuck this movie. Fuck this movie.
I really think you don't like this fucking movie.
And if it's in your top 10 list, you're putting it there just because it has a cool name. Like, literally, don't fucking tell me this is a good movie. Don't tell me the last one was a good movie. Like, I can respect shitty movies, guys. But movies, like I said, that waste your fucking time because they just didn't put effort into, like, anything. It's whatever. So, Justin?
Yep. Yeah, so I mean that's it. That's Christmas Evil from 1980. I give this one. So I gave the last one 3.5. It's like 3.5 out of 10 stars. I'll give this one 4.5 out of 10.
So I definitely dislike the last one. Don't Open Till Christmas. A lot more.
Yeah, but you also criticized me for giving it a 3.5 and not like a 6.
Yeah, but I will say that I'm a pretty fun person to watch movies with. I may just seem like a miserable asshole these last 2 episodes, but like this movie, I just don't fuck with. It's a waste of my time, and I don't want to rate it because I don't think that it's worth rating. Same as the last one. I think I was just fucking around, but I just think these are 2 piles of shit.
Well, there you have it. We have a pile of shit and a 4.5. So,
but you know what time it is.
I wonder. It is Trivia of Terror. All right, so you gonna hit me with some questions first tonight? I actually have some again for you prepared.
Awesome. So if you guys are new here, the way Trivia of Terror works is I ask Justin 3 questions. He asked me 3 questions. We have 30 seconds apiece to answer horror-related trivia. And
roughly,
we each get to phone a friend, which is the other person giving them a hint because we don't have any friends other than each other. So if we were to phone somebody, it would just be each other anyway. So here we go. Justin, are you ready for question number 1? All right. So legendary filmmaker George A. Romero began his career by working on what children's television show? Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Damn. You knew that. Did you really know that or did you guess?
I really fucking knew that.
Fuck. Okay. Bam. Well, there you go.
All right. So I usually have to pull my questions for Andrew out of my ass. He has flashcards, which I tried to get, but due to the pandemic right now, the regulations, they're based out of Mexico. They're not able to produce more cards right now. So it's not a thing that I can get my hands on. So I just usually try to come up with some questions. So my first one for you. In the 2008 film, The Strangers, when one of the main characters asks, "Why are you doing this?" what is the response from one of the antagonists?
Because you were home.
Bam. You got it. Damn, we're just both going to sweep through these tonight.
Damn.
Maybe now he's going to hit me with some hard shit.
Nah, because I already had my questions pre-planned out. So, I mean, They vary, guys, in difficulty. So if you're new here, sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're hard. Who directed Eraserhead, 1977?
Oh, fuck, dude. I haven't watched Eraserhead in like goddamn 15 years. So now I'm drawing a fucking blank.
You know who it is. It's easy. This should have been off the top of the dome. It's The Pressure.
It is The Pressure. I'm a phone a friend. Give me a hint, but don't make it too fucking obvious. Because I know.
Also responsible for Twin Peaks.
Oh my god, dude. Fucking
How?
No, I see his fucking name and it's just not coming out.
He has gray hair.
Well, yeah, I see his fucking face.
I see his fucking face.
Oh my god, dude.
Let me give you one more.
It's right
movie.
there. It's right there. Like, I know who the fuck he is.
So he also
don't give me any more of his movies because because I know who he is. Give me his don't give me his initials. It's too fucking easy. I'm about out of time.
I won't do that. So I want to see if you can get this. So I'm not going to give you his movies. Let me see. He had an acting role in nothing we would probably... The Elephant Man. That's not going to help you at all. In 1980, he was the man in the bowler hat. That's the world. You would have to be like fucking like goddamn like
it's
Jeopardy.
Not old fucking it's not goddamn old Dante Boy, is it?
He wrote Blue Velvet.
No, yeah,
he wrote Dune.
Yeah, see, it's right
Elephant
here.
Man.
I'm out of time. Give it to me.
It's goddamn David Lynch. What the fuck?
Yeah, see, okay, what the fuck? See, I knew it was a D. I was thinking of fucking god damn it. I see his fucking face in my head. You son of a bitch. Excuse my language.
Don't you ever go to the barber? There was a time I was like, you know what? Give me that David Lynch. And they're like, I got you, fam. And I was like, now I look fucking good.
I saw David Lynch's face. And then well,
you should have saw his fucking name.
Yeah, well, I should have thought of his fucking name. Oh, well. You know what?
I didn't say thought. I said saw his fucking name. So what's my next question?
I made these two fucking easy for you now after I fucking missed that fucking easy ass question. In Dario Argento's Suspiria from 1977, what begins falling from the ceiling in large numbers, sending all of the students at the dance academy into a frenzy?
Glass shards.
Final answer?
I'm pretty sure it's I'm pretty sure that when that girl falls through the ceiling, falls through the fucking ceiling, that's what I'm thinking of. Like, oh, wait.
That's why I know that you know it, because that's a very specific thing, but this is a much bigger thing. Like, what's falling isn't bigger, but this is a bigger deal. It's when they're all okay, so I'll give you a hint. Do you want to phone a friend?
Give me a phone a friend. I'm pretty sure I know. It's like you with the other one. I see it. I'm
all right.
Go ahead.
All right.
What's the phone a friend?
It's the scene where they're all trying to sleep, and it starts when she's brushing her hair, and she notices some of these things in her hair, and she looks at the brush.
I know which.
And then they all realize that they're falling from the ceiling, and from there they all run up to the attic to find out why.
It's fucking maggots.
You got it. You fucking got it.
I knew that shit. I knew that. I just could not fucking. I could not, because I was thinking the scene where the girl falls through the fucking the thing and all the glass falls.
Yep.
All right. So your next one is going to be interesting. I think you'll get it. Because this is a decent movie, even though it's from 2001. So, In From Hell, 2001, Johnny Depp plays a clairvoyant detective on the trail of what infamous serial killer?
It's Jack the Ripper, right?
Fuck yes, it is. You got that one good, quick.
All right.
That's it, right? Did you guess me 3 or did you ask me 2?
I've got one more for you.
Oh, okay. What you got?
In 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street, who was killed first?
Fuck. What is her name? No. I want to say it's it's not Nancy. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Nancy. It's gosh. Phone a friend. I don't know why I can't fucking think of this.
Okay. Let me think of a hint. Your 30 seconds is paused because I'm having to think of a hint.
It's the girl in the fucking body bag, is it not? Like, what is her fucking name?
I don't want to give you her initials. Well, I still don't know if you'd get it from then. All right. Yeah, I'm going to give you her initials. They are, and you don't have to give me her full name. Just her first name. But her initials are TG.
TG. Why can I not think of this? Oh, man. Why can I not think of this? It's Tara something. No, I don't fucking know. I'm going to know as soon as you tell me.
I know that you know. Are you ready?
I just can't fucking think of it. Yeah, what is it?
Tina Gray.
Yeah, Tina. Because Tina's the one in the body bag, is she not?
She's the one that he drags across the ceiling and is cutting her up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Who's the one in the fucking body bag? I'm pretty sure that was Tina, right? Like later on?
Tina's the one that is the girlfriend that her boyfriend gets accused for it because he has a switchblade.
Yeah, no, that's Tina. That's okay. So the scene where she's in the school, Nancy's in the school.
Yeah, but that's not when she dies.
No. But I'm saying that's the same character. Yeah. That's the scene I was thinking of. When she's being
dragged or whatever across the floor. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's the because I knew it was that character that gets killed first. I just could not remember what the actual scene was when she was getting killed. And of course, it's one of the best fucking scenes in the entire franchise.
Now, I thought about being an asshole and making that a trick question.
How so?
Because let me ask you again, but as a trick question. In 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street, who was killed first?
Freddy Krueger?
Exactly. That would have been some asshole shit.
I probably would have got that right if you would ask me that way.
I wouldn't have told you it's a trick question.
No, you wouldn't have. So you would have been an asshole. You're right.
Yeah. See? All right.
Been you fucking jerk.
God, I still can't believe I didn't get David Lynch, dude. It was right there. It was literally right there. And for some fucking reason, I kept wanting to, so I saw the fucking, his face. I saw his hair. But then for some reason, I kept wanting to gravitate towards Joe Dante because of the D. And I'm like, I know that's not right. So
yeah, well, we just lost all credibility because you missed something related to Twin Peaks. Nobody gave a fuck about Eraserhead unless you're like a cinephile.
You said Tara died first in A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, no. I did not finish my sentence.
You said
we lost all credibility because
I will play it back. It's on. We will play. We will roll the tape back. Your ass said just like this. You go, it's Tara something.
Tiresome.
Like you were trying to say it real quick to see if you were throwing it out there in a way that made you sound like you were just thinking it through. But if you would have got it right, I would have been like, yeah, you got it. But you were like, I'm just going to say it in a way where it doesn't sound like that's my guess. But that's my fucking guess.
Listen here, fucking Justin bullshit ass James.
Tell me.
Tara. I said Tara, which is 4 letters. Tina is also 4 letters, and they both start with T, so fuck that shit. At least I gave a name out. You didn't even give a name out.
I said it's not old. I said it's
David
not
Lynch.
You can roll the tape back again. I said it's not old Dante boy, is it? Because I was thinking out loud.
Dante.
I was like, it's not Joe Dante, but it was the D, and that's where the D came from, the David Lynch. And I saw his face. I literally saw David Lynch's face, but was putting Joe Dante's name on him for some reason. So,
well, you know what? We both lost credibility for this episode. So if you're out there, roast us in the comments if you watch this on YouTube.
Comment if you watch this show at all.
Yeah, just roast us, please.
Roast
Any attention's better than no attention.
Roast me, daddy. 2020.
Yeah. Well, so that's it. Thanks for listening thus far. And Justin, you want to see us out?
Yeah, so that's been episode 19. And that has been... what movie did we talk about? Christmas Evil from 1980. So if you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, I'm not sure. I think this is the second week in a row. I think my camera just cut out for some reason. There's no reason it should have. But my monitor's not showing that it's still running. But my audio is good. So follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is Justin James TV. You can find Drucifer where? Well, I just gave you your fucking name. I just said it.
Yeah, you did.
But you gotta tell him. You gotta tell him how to spell it.
You can find me across all social media at Drucifer, DREWXCIFER, rhymes with Lucifer.
Lucifer. Yeah, and you can also find a Cinema Creep podcast on Twitter, which is Cinema Creep Pod, and follow our Instagram, Cinema Creep Podcast. And Black Mass Films is Black Mass Films everywhere. So we will see you guys next week
with some actually good Christmas horror recommendations.
Yeah, actually, we're just going to go ahead and get you hyped. Next week, we're talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, motherfuckers. So,
hell yeah.
That's been it. We'll see you then.
See ya.